If you really want help, roll up your sleeves.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in this episode, we are going to talk about SUHUA. And SUHUA is a Simmer Esper. So we will know that she gonna have something unique about her. But first things first, she is kind of like very hard to acquire, either very hard or very easy, depending on whether you know this information or not. So at first, this is gonna be confusing for new players because if you just started playing the game, you probably won't start looking at this thing here and notice that in the rare category here, there is no SUHUA at all, because it cannot be acquired by normal means, which is spinning in your echo here. So the only way for you to acquire SUHUA is to go into the chat and find for the Ripple Dimension SUHUA here that is revealed by any other players. You can also reveal this by yourself if you are active in PvE content, but it is very much recommended to go to the chat because you can just open this unlimited amount of time. So SUHUA is an Esper that you can either get to Resonance 6 very fast or will be very slow depending on whether you are actively looking in the chat or you didn't know this information beforehand. So once you open the Ripple Dimension, you can go to Trial here and then go to the Ripple Dimension here in the excursion. And it only gets open where if you click the Ripple Dimension, and there's a time limit, like it expires in half an hour once you open it. And the rewards you can get for each one of the ripples that you open is maximum of 5 times. So you can go inside this stage, kill SUHUA 5 times, and then you will get pieces of SUHUA. And collect those pieces, go to the echo here, and then after that you can click the record stand on the bottom and summon SUHUA. For every 30 pieces of SUHUA, you will get a copy of SUHUA. So if you are often go to the chat and diligently open SUHUA's Ripple, you can very much easily get Resonance 6 of SUHUA, but if you don't know this beforehand, she will probably gonna be the last rare Esper that you will get in your lineup, because you will notice this too late by the time you go into the mid game. Like myself, I also just noticed about SUHUA in the middle of the game. I've opened a lot of the Esper here, and then I noticed why I don't have a single copy of SUHUA. That is impossible. Among all these rare Espers that we keep opening every time we open all the other epic and legendary, why is there not a single SUHUA? And only then I noticed in the chat that there is SUHUA, because I never really interact with the chat here. So yeah. If you are a returning player, or if you already know about this information, it can be a really good thing to start grinding SUHUA as fast as possible, because when you get a copy of SUHUA, she can be the strongest support Esper in your lineup that will help you a lot in progressing from early game to late game. So looking at her skill, the first skill damage attack on enemy, damage 130% attack, so it's 10% above average, which the average number is 120%, and 70% chance of inflicting attack down for 2/3. 70% is a little bit low, my minimum number is at 75%, but it's still okay. This is just an extra bonus that you can have in order to reduce the enemy's attack down. It only affects one enemy, so it is only best when dealing with bosses. When Sentinel Hunt first came out, I used SUHUA in order to reduce the boss damage. She is really good when you don't have 15 Espers to cover up for Sentinel Hunt and Falsetto Fantasy. Now going to her second skill, this is what makes her unique. Heals one ally, healing 30% of their maximum HP, grants invincibility and recovery to them for 1 turn. Invincibility is one of the best buff in the game because it makes your Esper unable to get damage. So it makes your ally pretty much safe for 1 turn. If the ally is below 50% HP, grants another recovery for 1 turn. So recovery also is a very good buff because it can stack. So with 2 recovery here, that means that with 1 recovery you heal for 15% of your maximum HP. That means that with 2 recovery you can heal for 30% of your maximum HP if you are below 50% HP. So on top of the initial heal that you deal to your allies here, you can heal up your allies up to 60% of their maximum HP, which is a lot. It can bring someone from near death experience back to a healthy amount of health. And not counting the panacea set. The panacea will increase your healing efficacy by 30%. So this will heal up to 70% of your allies' maximum HP. So that is really good. And the cooldown is also only 3 turns. So you can pretty much give invincibility to your ally for every 3 turns, and that will lengthen the life of your squeezy allies into a scary DPS monster, because they don't care about survivability as long as there is no dispeller on the enemy team. This is what makes SUHUA really good. And not only that, the best part about her is also on the 3rd skill. 3rd skill grants attack up and defense up to all allies for 2 turns, and the cooldown is only 3 turns if you give her a Billimon. So usually this will have 5 turns cooldown initially, so I do recommend very much to give her a Billimon as soon as you can, because the 2 turns cooldown reduction is really good. And also this will make, if you give SUHUA enough speed, because she's gonna rotate much faster than her allies, this will give permanent attack up and permanent defense up to all of her allies. So that is really good. 2nd skill 3 turns cooldown, 3rd skill 3 turns cooldown. So because she also required to give this buff at the beginning of the battle, like you do want your allies to have attack up first before they make their move on their using their 3rd skill. So you do need SUHUA to be the first one to move in your lineup. And also, if it happens to have been the enemy's turn to be moving after your SUHUA, at least you can know that your allies will be relatively safe by having defense up. So having her be the first one to move in your lineup is very crucial. That's why her most important stats is the speed. So if you can get high enough speed here, you can go for Panacea set. But if you are still early or mid game player, then the game developer themselves already recommend you to go for the win set here. So it's more important for her to move first compared to healing her allies more, because this is much more important than this one, because this one needs to come out first, and this one only happens if your ally gets hurt. So if you play around with controller, obviously you are rarely gonna get hurt, but if you do happen to get hurt and the AI in this game happen to target the element that are weak to them, so that means that you're pretty much on the 2nd turn, your ally who will hurt the most is the one that is your weakest link, because he lose to the enemy's element the most. So she will be able to aim for that ally and give them invincibility. And sometimes the AI, if your ally is low enough, they will keep on hitting that invincible Esper, buying you enough time for the recovery to kick in, and you also to kill them first. So that is really good for SUHUA rotation and also the AI. So that's the best part about SUHUA. Like, there is no need for her to for you to manually control her, because obviously this gonna target your allies with the least amount of health. Now going to her advancement here, she doesn't need level 60 at all, because she doesn't require any stats in her kit here. Like, she will always going to heal the same amount of number no matter how many stats she has. So that's why she only requires speed. The rest you can just spread between HP, defense, and resist. Doesn't matter which one. Everything will increase her survivability. So you don't want to waste a legendary Starimon on SUHUA because she already performed at her maximum capabilities even at level 50. Now going to her resonance, again the stats is optional, but the second resonance here reduce her damage taken if she is incapacitated and extra survivability, which is good. Then the fourth resonance here, when granting buffs, the Esper heals themselves, healing 2% maximum HP for each buff granted, up to 8% per turn. So this is really good for her because in order to sustain herself, like if she is the only healer in your team, like if she is hurt herself, then she gonna waste her heal on herself and risking her allies who is more squishier than her to die. So in order to ensure that she will only ever gonna heal her allies, that fourth resonance will keep on healing her. Like if you imagine this, like the rotation gonna go like this. She gonna start with the third skill, give buffs, then heal herself. Then second skill, she gonna heal someone else, then heal herself too because she gives buffs. And then going to her first skill, she's not gonna heal on this one. Then go back to the third skill and she will heal herself again. So she can pretty much sustain herself as long as you give her enough speed, because she gonna rotate really fast on all of these skills, and two of these skills will heal herself using her fourth resonance here. So going into her ascension is also perfect for a support Esper because the first one it increase her HP, second one increase her defense, fourth one increase her HP, fifth one increase her defense again, and the last one increase her speed. And this is the best because the last one will always give the most number here, the highest number here, and she really needs speed very much because you need her to be the first one to move in your lineup. So that plus 10 speed will help you a lot. And then the third ascension here is the one that gives recovery to your heal skill. So obviously you're gonna need to take the third ascension at the bare minimum. So going to her rival rune here, again, like the Wind and the Panacea, if you have enough speed, then you can go for Panacea, but if you don't have enough speed, you should go with the Wind. But the Mui is optional, like the Mui, she can just get anything that she wants. So she has a lot of options here, like for the Mui, she can go for the shield, she can go for hold fast, she can go for Aegis, like a lot of options here, like Immense, like set, you know, like pretty much all these things. Or she can also increase her survivability, Stormvein Grove. So she has a lot of options here. And if you can happen to have high resist here, then the hold fast will give extra defense to all of her lineup. And the shield here also really good for her because it will increase her survivability, and because she is the healer, she can heal more often because she will survive for a longer period of time. And I would want to give special explanation about this extra set for the first one here, because as we have known, like all the episodes that I've made here, like the specialty of rare Esper is that they have very fast rotation. Like most of them only have cooldown of 3 turns and 4 turns, and especially for SUHUA, because she is like a very good support Esper here. Like she can buff and she can also heal, so you're gonna pretty much be bringing her in every fight. Why not on top of that you also give her the Harmony set, because Harmony will increase ally damage plus 10% for 2 turns after the wearer casts ability 3. So her ability 3 only have 3 turns cooldown, and with her high speed, this gonna rotate very often, and you gonna trigger your Harmony set very often too. So that's why if you do think about the rare Esper, like the best part about them that is still pretty much be relevant up until late game is the fact that they have very fast cooldown on their third skill. So pretty much almost every single support Esper in the rare category can be paired with the Harmony set here. So they are really good for that whole purpose. Now going to her Divinate, the stats is also optional, and when the bearer's HP is below 50%, Astral Guardian's healing plus 20%. Astral Guardian is this one, the second skill. So the thing is that for this one, because it only triggers when the bearer's HP is below 50%, unlike any other healer Esper that will trigger their extra healing when their target is the one that is low health, this one will trigger when SUHUA is the one at low health. But because SUHUA is the one at low health, the AI will definitely gonna heal herself. So that means that this purpose here is to make sure that SUHUA will survive. So if you increase this number like 30% plus another 30%, and then the Panacea set on top of that 70%, and then add that with another 20%, it will pretty much gonna heal SUHUA back to full health. So that is really good. Like if she managed to move when she is at low health and she happened to have her second skill of cooldown, she will definitely go back to full health, especially with invincibility of 1 turn. So that is really good. Like she gonna be your favorite Esper very early in the game, and I do recommend after you watch this, like if you are a new player, go grind your SUHUA right up until Resonance 6 as fast as you can, because she is very easy to get as long as you know the trick there. Like just keep watching the chat here, like you can just do something else while chatting with someone else in here, and keep an eye for the SUHUA ripple that come out sometimes in the chat. So that is SUHUA, guys. So did I miss anything?
You got the problem. Speak up.
If you really want help, roll up your sleeves.
Oh yeah, and again, like, for an example of how to use SUHUA, like when very early in the game, like when Sentinel Hunt first came out, like she is really good for Sentinel Hunt because sometimes her heal and her invincibility will help a lot, but the Darkstar Lord will be able to steal the invincibility, which makes things, just goes downhill from there. So yeah, there's pros and cons for her. That's why when I played this game, like very early in the game, I didn't know how to acquire her, so I got her very late. But then again, at the very late game, like she got a lot of replacement for her. Like I already got Sienna, I already got other buffer Esper, so I don't really use her much, unlike probably most other players out there. So yeah, it's subjective, depending on your usage on her. So I think I didn't miss anything in here. Yeah, I'm afraid I missed anything. But,
cooped up in a greenhouse.
yeah, that's all, I guess. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.